Hey, just wanted to jump on Capture One and do a quick edit from a family session that I recently photographed. So I have not actually gone through these photos and decided on which ones I want to edit yet. As you can see, there are a lot of duplicates of different photos that are in here. These are all raw. I haven't edited any of them yet. I actually found and marked this one that I really like as a good example photo for us to edit together today. So I'm going to go back in the top left here. You'll see I have these custom menus that I have set up for myself and kind of the order that I go through in the editing process. So first is like lens corrections and crop and rotation. Second is exposure, brightness generally. Third is color. Fourth is sharpness. Fifth is local edits, and sixth is export. Don't need to start on crop because, well, I'll just hit C on my keyboard and crop this in just a little bit so they're a little more centered. Then I'm going to go into exposure. I'm actually going to mess with the tone curve first. So let me lift that up a little bit, lower my shadows like that, and then raise. Oh, let me move myself out of the way here for a second, and then raise this just a bit. So that will give it a little more gray in the darks of this image. And I'm going to raise the contrast a smidge. I'm going to raise the. I'm going to keep the brightness where it's at. I'm going to actually. No, yeah, I'm going to raise the saturation just a little bit. I'm going to lower the highlights. A very bright image so far. So lowering the highlights will take down the brightest parts of the image. I'm actually going to lower the exposure a little bit more. I'm going to lower the shadows, raise the whites a little bit, and lower the blacks just a smidge for a little more contrast. Okay, and I'm going to go into my colors tab. I'm thinking this is a little too warm for my tastes. So maybe something like here. It's usually what I go for. This makes me want to brighten up the image just a little bit more. So you want to go with the brightness setting. Raise the contrast a little bit. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Next, going to go into color balance. I like to generally lower the shadows in here, raise the midtones, and then highlights, I can go either way. I'm actually going to lower them just a little bit in this image. Then we're going to go over to color. I like to take the sliders and throw them far right and then far left, see what it does to the image. So I think I like a little more red in here. Actually going to darken it a little bit as well. The orange is really their skin tone here. So I want it to pop just a little bit more, so I'll raise it just a little. And then actually darken a smidge. And then I'm going to brighten this up just a little bit more. Actually, so now that I'm looking at his eye right here is more in the shadows. So I'm going to raise the shadows up just a little bit so that's just not quite as dark. It's the before, there's the after. Yeah, I think I like that more. Cool. Okay, I don't want to mess with the oranges any more than that. Yellows, I think I actually want to lower these a little bit in terms of saturation. Do I want to adjust this? I think the warmer hue gives it more life, so I'm going to lower it just a little bit. Greens, I like to do the classic fade out the green look. It just looks good. Okay, it looks good. I'm not embarrassed. I like it. And then for blue or teal, I should say, it's like a little bit in her hair. So if I look, I can't zoom in when I'm on this mode, but yeah, a little bit in the shirt and the hair. I don't want more teal. Let's lower that. Blue. It's really just in the shirt. You see a change in color there. Actually, gonna lower that. purples. Actually, let me just mess with the lightness a little bit on that. I kind of like the lower blue. Not really any purple. Not really. There's a little bit of pink, I guess, but it's fine where it is. Cool. I'm going to go into sharpness. I like to lower the radius to just take off the edge on the effect a little bit. And lately I'm hanging out around the 300s. That seems to be, I think, a good mix. This is a preview. This is actually a pretty sharp image. Not bad. Not bad. 2.8. Maybe should I mention the settings in the bottom left here. This is on the Nikon Z7. This is with the 85mm lens. Where's the photo info? Metadata. There we go. Yeah, Z7, Sigma 85 1.4, 250 ISO, 1/800 seconds, aperture 2.8, and then obviously focal length is 85. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. 300s for the sharpness. Like to mess with the clarity. I feel like clarity is kind of taken away from this image, so I'm going to lower it a little bit. And then I'm actually going to add a little bit of structure. It's hard to define what the difference between these is, but I like how sharp this image is. I really like this. I got to shoot at 2.8 more often. The dehaze, maybe just a smidge. I know it's pretty good, but I like to do noise reduction at 60. And then I always like to add in some high granularity silver rich, just to give the image some character. Not too much character, where the sharpness is lost, but just a little something. Just a little something, you know. Just a little something. Okay, yeah, this is looking pretty good. I don't really want to mess with the contrast that much. I might make some of the other colors pop, but we'll get to that in a second. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename this demo. Rename, what am I at? 7 minutes? Not bad. Not bad at all. And then I'm going to go onto my export tab here. I'm going to choose JPEG. How do I hide this menu? All right, so I'm going to select JPEG 80%. Couldn't check it off because it's behind the little menu that I didn't know how to close. I'm going to hit process. Browser queues when you stopped. Oh, I renamed it to demo. Yeah, I'm going to hit yes. And that's going to process the image, which is great. Perfect. Now I'm going to open, actually, let's do it through Photoshop instead. Open that up. I'm going to move myself over here now. Let's go File, Name, and Demo. Open that up. All right, and we're going to do a little bit more in Photoshop. We can see the exported image here. It's looking real nice, actually. I really like this picture. This is great. He's smiling a little bit. He was crying a lot during the shoot, but as you can see a little bit of the snot at the nose there. Maybe I should edit that out, but I think it's fine. But yeah, in here I'm going to do some more color work and also some slight retouching. So I'm going to grab my patch tool here. It's normally the spot healing brush. You can select patch tool if you right click. And I'm going to zoom in real close. And I'm just going to make some very small changes on the skin. It's just like little things like that. Nothing crazy. Straw circle on it and drag to another spot that looks good. I like that. Of course, when you're doing touch-ups, you never want to remove like moles or things that are natural to the person and their appearance. So you don't want to take out things that are a part of them, you know. But little blemishes and stuff like that you can remove. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that. Put that up there. Put it here. Okay, wonderful. This is looking pretty good. I'm going to go over to him. Children tend to have great skin, but I want to edit out a little bit of the fuzzies in his hair. So I'm just going to draw around those. So there are less of those in the hair. Yep, this is looking pretty good. Just a couple more up here. Okay. Great. And then Gotta zoom in a little bit. I guess he's got a little something here. A little bit of snot. I'm really, I think I'm just gonna leave that alone. Okay, and that's looking pretty good. So now over on the right, I'm going to add some more layers. First, I'm going to do a brightness contrast filter. I usually add just a little bit of brightness, like literally just 1 or 2 on this. Ah! Ah! Yeah, give me a 2. Contrast, again, nothing crazy. I already had those controls in there, but it's nice in Photoshop because this is like the full quality image, it's not just a proof. Do some other quick, oh, I need to select the right layer. There we go. Okay, cool. And then after brightness contrast, we like to do a selective color. For reds, I tend to lower the cyans. It just helps the skin. Like, this is just like, people don't look like this, you know what I mean, with the blue. I like this natural tone, but I like to make it pop, just that beautiful brown skin, just pop a little bit more. Magenta, I don't really mess with magenta. Yellow, I like to leave yellow alone. And then on the black, I think maybe just a very, very tiny amount down is fine. And then I like to go into greens. Actually, if I go to yellows, you can see what's being affected here. This is also affecting the skin tone. So I don't want to mess with it too much, but actually, again, I want to remove a little bit of cyan. Get some of that cyan out of there. Ooh, and actually, I think it looks nice with a little bit of removed yellow. Ooh, that's really good. That's really good. And then if I go greens, see a little more blue, a little more cyan, and the greens are nice actually. A little bit less magenta, a little bit less yellow, a little bit less black. Cool. Those are the only colors really in this image, so I'll leave that alone. So then last I'd like to do is hue saturation. For the master, yeah, we're going to keep that at where it is. For the reds, I think I'm actually going to lower it just a little bit, just a little. And then darken just a smidge, like the rich tones. Yes, that's great. Yellow, maybe down just a little, and then brightened on the lightness. And then greens. Greens are fine. I don't need to mess with those. I think those are good. And here you have it. Here's pretty much the final image. I guess what I can do is save this as a JPEG. And then if I open up my JPEG viewer, like that, and here we are. Here is the full image. Looking nice and crispy. Little smile there. No fuzzies in the hair. Beautiful. That's it for this tutorial. So that's an example of how I might go in and just start editing images. From here, I'd probably take, of course I did some local edits in Photoshop, but I would take some of these edits in Capture One, I would copy paste it over similar sets of images, just kind of tweak them one by one through there. But yeah, it's my first tutorial. I think I'm pretty happy with how this one came out, but feel free to subscribe for more photography content. Thanks.